கெட் ரெடி ஃபாக்ஸ். உங்க ஊர் தலைவனை தேடி புடிங்க. இதுதான் நம்ம சர்க்கார்.
From real to real life Sarkar. Thalapathy ready to be Mukhyamantri. Rahul dumps dost Stalin. DMK's backstabber Bob at Congress. Bitter Congress DMK divorce. Vijay in, Stalin out. Tamil Nadu braces for a blockbuster swearing in.
Hello and a very good evening. Vanakkam. I'm joining you live here on Super 6 on the special edition from what's going to be the most historic venue and a location that Tamil Nadu will remember forever. This is the Nehru Indoor Stadium. It's right here that Vijay will take oath as the Chief Minister. It's right here that history will be made. I'm going to go up and show you what this location really looks like. Right now, atop this entire location, and they're still fixing the stairs, so we're going to be careful. Atop this location is where Vijay will take oath as Chief Minister. All the preps are underway. As you can see, it's a massive stage inside this stadium that's been set up. The idea is for this to be as grand as it gets. And I'm going to take you around, give you a first-hand glimpse of exactly what this location looks like. The entire setup being done right now, and we're in the midst of it. You can see the chairs have all been laid out for all of the VVIPs who will be a part of the swearing-in ceremony. We can confirm for you that 2 of those seats will be reserved for Rahul Gandhi and for Mallikarjun Kharge. But the preparations, as you can see, are on in full swing right here at the Nehru Indoor Stadium. These are the first glimpses that we're getting for you of exactly what the location looks like. Everything being set up, they're all moving in fast speed to get the whole place prim and ready, because what were we hearing? That the swearing in ceremony could happen tomorrow. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. was what everyone was talking about. The idea was to show skill, was to show Vijay's mass appeal, that while you'll have seats here across this entire area, in this entire stadium, it will be packed with thousands of people, all of course cheering, the sound of whistles across. The idea was for a mega grand swearing-in ceremony tomorrow. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, because there's been hurdle after hurdle for Vijay. He's got the people's mandate, and yet he's facing so many issues when it comes to actually coming in and taking oath. The latest being that, yes, he's gone to the governor, but the governor has yet to give his nod, because he's not sure if he has the numbers. So while you see preparations on right now here on a war footing across the Nehru Indoor Stadium, and we're getting you these first glimpse of what the swearing-in ceremony is going to look like, what we've been telling you is it's going to be unprecedented. It's a historic moment, and to match that scale is why we're seeing this kind of a setup. Over the next 2 hours on the special marathon broadcast on India Today, I'm going to be giving you a sense of what's happening here at the Nehru Indoor Stadium. This is the location where we've seen some of the most iconic film releases, audio launch events. Now it's going to be used for a political swearing-in where the lines kind of blur between films and politics. Lots lined up for you. The Thalapathy of Tamil cinema becomes the Thalapathy of Tamil Nadu. And it's right here that his journey will begin. The only question is when. When will that journey begin? I'm going to be getting you all of those updates, getting you all the action here at the Nehru Indoor Stadium, giving you a sense of the sheer scale that Vijay has planned for the historic swearing-in. He fully recognizes how huge this moment is going to be, which is why they're going all out for the swearing-in ceremony. The question, however, is when will the governor give that nod for the ceremony to take place? It is ultimately up to the Lok Bhavan to give the nod for when they want the ceremony to happen. But as we continue getting you a sense of what the location here looks like, what the preparations here look like at the Nehru Indoor Stadium, there's still a question mark on when it will open up, when fans will be able to throng this entire location that I'm at, and when we will see that swearing-in ceremony actually take place. Is it tomorrow? Is it the day after? And then there's a question about whether Vijay can get enough support to actually ensure impact, to actually ensure that this stadium will be packed, and his dream, Tamil Nadu's dream, also clearly looking at the mandate, will come true of going ahead and having Vijay as Chief Minister, Thalapathy Vijay, as the Chief Minister, as the man leading Tamil Nadu. I'm going to be getting you lots more on this in the special edition of Super 6, coming to you live from Chennai, from the Nehru Indoor Stadium. We begin with the headlines first. It's a historic moment in Tamil Nadu. Vijay meets Tamil Nadu governor, stakes claim to form government, but sources say signature 107 TVK MLAs, 5 Kong MLAs submitted. The governor has told him to come back with signatures of at least 118 MLAs. All eyes are on Thalapathy's oath ceremony, the grand event likely to take place in the next 2 days at the Nehru Indoor Stadium in Chennai. Rahul Gandhi Kharge to attend the oath ceremony. After Congress backs Vijay, DMK brands Congress as a backstabber. DMK reminds Congress of BJP's Papu Raga. 5 Tamil Nadu Congress MLAs root for Vijay, meet him and offer support. Decks cleared for new BJP government in Bengal. Oath-taking ceremony to be held on May 9th at 10 a.m. in Kolkata. Prime Minister Modi likely to attend the ceremony. Bengal marred by post-poll violence, at least 2 dead. Security continues to remain tight across the state. 500 companies of central forces deployed on ground. 200 additional companies kept in reserve. And Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwat Mann calls twin blasts in Amritsar and Jalandhar a BJP plot. Top cop fact-checks Chief Minister Mann, says Pak terror link exposed. BJP lashes out at Chief Minister Mann, says he's always sided with Pakistan. The Nehru Indoor Stadium, as you can see behind me, fully decked up, ready for the grand oath-taking ceremony. But when will the ceremony happen? It was supposed to happen tomorrow, but now, with Vijay meeting the governor, offering signatures of 112. That's 107 of TVK and 5 of Congress. That adds up to 112. Simply not good enough, because your majority mark right now is at 118. How will the TVK make up for that number? Reportedly, the governor has said that he needs those signatures to prove majority mark, and has also sought legal opinion right now to figure out whether TVK's bid to claim, to stake claim with just 112 signatures can actually make the cut, or if it will be completely scrapped. So this is the big breaking news that's coming in. You know, we've spoken of endless hurdles that's come in the way of Vijay's path to becoming the Chief Minister, of Vijay's path to wearing the crown, to sitting on the throne. Again now, another hurdle. Why? Because of the mandate that came in, which did show that while TVK is the single largest party, no decisive number, didn't manage to cross the majority mark. And so he's looking at getting in support from every quarter that he can. With the Congress on board, that's 5. With the VCK, if they come on board, that's an additional 2. If the left comes on board, that's an additional 4. And yet they'll reach just about 118. And in the next 24 hours, that means the VCK, the left, everyone has to get moving and kind of get that the authorization done immediately, which looks very unlikely right now. TVK and Vijay wants to hit the ground running. They're in a tearing hurry to go ahead and take oath to form the government and not hold off any longer. But it looks like, unfortunately, it could take more time, essentially, for the TVK to be able to pull off that historic swearing-in ceremony. Pramod Madhav, Anaga Keshav, Apurva Jayachandran, all live with me on this broadcast. Pramod, to you first. Damp water thrown all over Vijay's plans, all over TVK's plans. What is the TVK's game plan now?
Well, as we speak right now, Akshita, that is a building where Vijay is. That is a 15th floor where he is currently, and this is a place where we also seen that the Chief Secretary and the DGP of the state are actually having a discussion right now. So the important aspect is that this is a place where apparently, yesterday also a meeting was held as to what needs to be done when it comes to the forming of the government and such. The important aspect is that the governor is, just like you mentioned, is asking the number who's actually in favor for TVK, but just like you mentioned, now they are in dire need of VCK and the left to support them. Akshita, I did have a word with the left parties. Even though VCK is ready to go ahead, Tirumavalaman is saying that he will go ahead and have a communication and talks with the senior office bearers. That does not seem to be the word with the left parties. Left parties still don't want to take a proper decision because they claim that they actually were in DMK alliance and they have won it, and they believe that it would be
one second, on the left, Pramod, on the left, have they expressed solidarity with Stalin? Because MDMK has. There's a question mark over DMDK, which has only one, by the way. But what about the left? Have they said that, we stand resolutely with Stalin? Or they just, at this point, still confused, still skeptical?
Akshita, we can't call them as confused, but they are very firm about the decision. When it comes to left, the important aspect here is that CPIM is led by Shanmugam, who actually led the Vachati, protest in the state of Tamil Nadu. So he's one of the strongest leaders from Tamil Nadu when it comes to CPIM, and he cannot be easily persuaded. We can clearly say, unlike Congress leaders or so. So that's a very important aspect. And we have reached the, Vijay's residence over here, which is also having extreme security at this spot, right? Because he is the chief minister-elect right now. But the important aspect here is that, the left parties very clearly, when we spoke to them, they said that they will actually go as per the protocol, and that would be to go ahead and hold discussion with the party office bearers and such.
Going to take a couple of days, essentially. There's no hurry within the left to take a decision. So that means for Vijay to reach that 118 majority mark, or the magic number, if you'd like to call it that, it is going to take some time. And so his dream of taking oath here at the Nehru Indoor Stadium and scripting history like never before. Since 1967, you've not had any leader besides one from the DMK or AIADMK taking oath as the Chief Minister. So just imagine the scale of what we're witnessing here and how historic this moment is going to be whenever it happens. Right now, it does look like there's been a bit of a dampener in Vijay's plans, and he's going to have to hold off for longer. This could take 2 days, 3 days. No one really knows. And Anaga, what we're also hearing is that the Tamil Nadu governor, Arlikar, is a bit conflicted by the fact that the numbers simply don't add up and is seeking legal opinion. What is the possibility of the governor giving the nod as is at 112? What's the past precedent here?
In fact, the governor can still go ahead and give a nod to form a minority government, but then the majority has to be proven on a floor test. So it's only in the assembly that Vijay will have to prove that he has the support of 118 MLAs and not really first in the Lok Bhavan. But it looks like the governor has drawn the line here and has sought a legal opinion about this matter. But there have been instances where governors have given a nod for a government to form, for a party to form government, even with minority numbers. It's happened even in Tamil Nadu. And then on the floor, they have to prove that they have the halfway mark, which is 118. It looks like it's going to be a turbulent and uncertain time ahead for Vijay. We need to wait and watch if this matter will really reach the doors of court. Will the court now have to decide what's going to happen next? It's quite uncertain at the moment.
No, but from what you're telling us, Anaga, it's happened before that the governor has approved of a minority government. So then why isn't he doing it now? At 112, what Vijay has to do is kind of prove his numbers in the assembly, which is why, seeking legal opinion, I'm sure the TVK went ahead and staked claim to form the government. The fact that the governor right now has said no, I'm going to press the pause button, has led to endless questions and speculation as to why he's chosen to do that. Why is he saying at this point that I cannot give approval as things stand? Because at 112, yes, they're short of the majority mark, but the TVK is still being recognized very clearly as the single largest party. If, let's say, the TVK has to wait for support, and that is only if the VCK and left are willing to give that support, that itself could take another 48 hours. So then the swearing-in ceremony will be pushed to, let's say, a Saturday or Sunday again. That's a big if based on whether that support actually comes in. So as I show you what's happening around here and give you a sense of the kind of preps that are underway, you can see that despite the fact that the governor hasn't given the nod, the work is going on. They're very clear, and the authorities here are saying we're going to keep everything ready, because if the governor, who is seeking legal opinion right now, goes ahead and agrees to the decision, then we'll have to see what really happens. Okay, the other bit of breaking news that I can confirm for you is that the latest press release has come in from the governor of Tamil Nadu, who has dismissed the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly with effect from 5th May. So as of yesterday, the DMK government has been dissolved. This is a mere formality. Let's be very, very clear. But Anaga, do we read into this as essentially the next step is that the nod will be given for Vijay to form the government? Is that what's happening here? Is that how we read into this development? We're going to fire the breaking news that's just come in. The DMK government has officially been dissolved by the governor, who sent across that notification. Anaga, go ahead.
Well, in fact, as of the 5th of May, the DMK's government that was led by Stalin has officially been dissolved by the governor. At this moment, we still don't have a government that has officially been formed. We have one party that has secured the single largest vote share, the single largest party, but then it's still falling short of majority. So at the moment, Tamil Nadu does not have a functioning government. It will be, of course, run by the governor at the moment. It will be under the control of the governor, but at the moment, the DMK government has passed out. At the moment, the TVK is yet to prove its majority, post only which Vijay can really take oaths as the next chief minister. Until then, it's going to be empty. Tamil Nadu is not going to have a government. It's going to be held and run by the governor as a stopgap arrangement until Vijay goes ahead and proves that he has that 118 majority mark. He is in touch with VCK. He is in touch with left parties. Of course, AIADMK is going to be his
you
last
have Stalin as a caretaker chief minister. And that's usually the norm, that the governor will say that the chief minister continues till the next government takes over. Here you've got the DMK government being dissolved, which means perhaps governor steps in here and temporarily administers affairs in Tamil Nadu. The question is, for how long? And that's perhaps an answer only the governor can give us. We're seeing if there will be an additional communication that will come in post this, and that will perhaps give us clarity of what the governor is thinking right now, and whether we are going to be seeing any sort of decision by the governor in favor of Vijay, and whether the swearing-in ceremony will happen here tomorrow as planned. As we continue getting you these updates that are coming in, let me also quickly bring in Apurva Jayachandran on what's happening within the TVK camp now. Apurva, you know, Vijay will be very disheartened by the fact that nothing seems to be going as per plan. He wanted an immediate swearing-in ceremony. We still don't know if that's going to happen or not. He wanted the numbers on his side. 5 have come over. He still needs 6.
Well, that's right. You know, all these plans that Vijay is making up to form the government, they're essentially, it is put on hold right now, because what we are seeing, the Congress additional of 5, it is at currently 112 seats. And, you know, you still have a majority that is needed of 118. So 5 additional seats, that 5 to 6 additional seats that the TVK needs to form a majority and go before the governor with its, refurbished list of MLAs who will be backing with the TVK there. Vijay had wanted all of this to be wrapped up, and it's a done deal that Vijay wanted by tomorrow, that is May 7th, which is when the TVK ideally expected that there will be a swearing-in ceremony of Vijay as the next chief minister of Tamil Nadu, as well as the cabinet ministers list that will be finalized as well. But it looks like that is going to be the next 48 hours will be focusing on the talks there, be it with the left parties, be it with the VCK, if they will be willing to offer their support for the TVK. If these left parties and the VCK does not, is not keen enough to offer the support for
the question is whether they get the support or not, irrespective, and that's what is based on. The stage you see there has been fully set for the oath-taking ceremony. You see the grand event that is being planned right on top of that massive stage there, that platform, which is still being built, is where Vijay will be taking oath. The posters haven't been put up yet, but the red carpet has been laid out, the chairs have been laid out. Everything has been given the green signal. The authorities are working overtime. You've got government officials all here right now figuring out how to ensure that everything is put in place. Mind you, this is being done also by the TVK, which has given the go-ahead for these arrangements. But there's no clarity right now on when that will happen. I want to bring in Pramod Madhav because he's tracking Vijay right now. Vijay is currently at his residence very close to the Marina Beach. He's heading to his other residence, Neelankare in ECR, because very clearly he was hoping that today there would be clarity on what would happen, when is the oath-taking ceremony. Pramod, none of that has come through, and it's unfortunate because previously you have seen these kind of minority governments being given the go-ahead that they are the single largest party and so have the right to form the government. Here, however, for some reason the governor has said absolutely not. You need to prove that you have 118, and that magic number seems to be for now evading Vijay.
Well, that is a very important aspect that you're trying to bring out, Akshita. In fact, like when we spoke to TVK team, they are also raising the same question actually. Why is the governor seeking for that 118 number? In fact, as you can right now, the Vijay is actually leaving from his residence. This is at Pattinambakam, but we've been told that another actor called Jeeva, his father passed away. R.B. Chaudhary passed away in an accident recently, and apparently we've been told that Vijay might go over there to pay his respect. So that's the reason now he's leaving. But before that, it was the Chief Secretary of the State and also the DGP who also were here, over here, and they were actually holding a discussion. And right now I could see that one after the other, the convoy is also getting ready for the Chief Minister-elect Vijay to leave from this spot. The important aspect, the question that you asked, it's a very, very important question that's being also asked by the TVK the team over here. They are also claiming that they are absolutely wondering why is the governor asking for the majority 118 number when Vijay is actually showing that he has a maximum majority and he's seeking to form the government. But here the governor has multiple times very clearly said that he wants a number 118, but Vijay is not ready to even show them that he has the support of the Congress right now, because tomorrow very important meeting is going to be held by VCK, Akshita, and that is itself which is a very important development because the CPM and CPI are going to hold their meeting only day after tomorrow. That is on the 8th, and they are not yet decided whether they will go with Vijay or not. But VCK has come a step down. They have agreed to go ahead. Tirumavalavan very clearly says that he will actually hold the meeting with the office bearers, senior office bearers tomorrow. So there are high chance for VCK to come over here. Akshita, there is also one more problem. If VCK comes and if the left parties do not come, there will be shortage of 4 MLAs, but that 4 MLAs can be brought in through PMK, that is Patali Makal Kachhi. But unfortunately, VCK and Patali
No,
Makal
you're
Kachhi
right.
are
You're right. The
absolute
numbers
enemies
don't
because of
add
the-
up here. If there's even one combination that doesn't work out, then the TVK is in trouble. You know, you're seeing this entire layout here, row after row of chairs that have been set up, all set for the big Vijay show, for the Talapati show. And yet you don't know when it's going to happen, whether it's going to happen anytime now, or if it will take more time. So while everything is set up, because the governor's nod is awaited, there is some information also trickling in that the governor may actually leave for Kerala. In which case the messaging is that, look, it's not going to happen anytime now. So everything will be set up here, and then it will just be kept on hold. Nothing really seems to be going in the way of Vijay. He's had one hurdle after another. The mandate has come his way, but that's about it. Now, even as we get you all the updates that's coming in right now on Vijay, on the swearing-in ceremony and the ambiguity over exactly when that swearing-in ceremony will happen, there's another aspect to this. Because while we speak of numbers and the TVK having only one party support now, Congress, those 5 MLAs are with them. So 107, they've reached 112. And it's not something that's gone down well with the DMK. In further attacks that are coming in from the DMK and further evidence that things have stalled far too much for the DMK and Congress to ever reconcile now. You've got the DMK now hitting out, issuing a statement. T.R. Balu, senior leader of the DMK, has said, are we really surprised by the fact that the Congress has ditched us in this manner? They have said that the Congress party can support anyone it wants. That's their choice. But whoever they support, it will be political morality to be true to the people who voted for them. Today, when I saw the Congress saying in the news that they had broken up, I was not surprised. They've gone to the other side with a vengeance. The Congress is trying to justify it. The attempt to mask it with policy is paying off for opportunism. This is a blatant betrayal of the people who voted for the DMK-led government. So the knives are out. everyone's fighting, and the DMK and Congress, who've been allies for so many years now, are taking pot shots at each other very publicly. So much so that T.R. Balu has now called out the DMK, saying this is called out the Congress, saying this is nothing but opportunism, saying that very clearly they wanted to be in power, that's why they've done this. And they're saying we're not surprised at all. But they've called this a betrayal by the Congress. Earlier, they'd referred to them as backstabbers, now calling this an absolute betrayal. So even as the Congress is trying to mask this, saying that, you know, the DMK is still a part of the India bloc, nothing changes nationally, it looks highly unlikely right now that, you know, DMK and Congress can remain together or are seeing eye to eye. The Congress is very clearly backing Vijay, which is why this setup has been made in the first place, because of the fact that Congress gave those numbers to Vijay, to TVK, made him extremely confident that the others also would come on board. We also understand that a large part of the responsibility of ensuring support, the large part of responsibility of ensuring support of the other DMK allies, the VCK, the left that we're constantly talking of, the Congress also has taken that responsibility. They're saying we will help, we will reach out to these parties who've been a part of the same bloc as them. So obviously they do have those kind of ties, contacts within the parties, which they'll start dialing now on an urgent basis, on an SOS basis, because as long as those numbers don't come, it looks like it is going to be hard for the TVK right now to be going ahead with this historic swearing-in ceremony. History will have to wait in Tamil Nadu till the governor gives the nod. That, unfortunately, is the process. And for so many Vijay fans who've been waiting for this moment, that wait gets longer. But let's give you a sense of what's been playing out between the DMK and the Congress. The DMK at this point is calling out the Congress very publicly. The Congress, the Grand Old Party, maintains that this is a decision taken to keep out the BJP. They've offered support, yes, to TVK, but it comes with terms and conditions. What is that conditional support about? They say if the TVK joins hands with, as they put it, communal forces, they will then leave the alliance. Take a look at this report with all the reactions.
My brother Stalin.
இயக்கத்தினுடைய உணர்வை நான் வெளிப்படுத்தியிருக்கேன். நான் வெளிப்படுத்தியிருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த உணர்வை யாரும் எதிர்க்கவில்லை.
My brother Stalin. Elder brother Stalin.
From brothers to foes, from allies to adversaries. Things have turned ugly between the DMK and the Congress party. With the Grand Old Party dumping its ally and joining hands with the TVK, which is all set to form the government in Tamil Nadu. The Congress has given a letter of support to TVK Supremo Vijay. An angry DMK lashed out at the Congress, left, right and centre.
If the Congress is going to be so untrustworthy, just within a day of the results, they are openly going against the mandate. I think this is a very short-sighted, myopic stand taken by the Congress, which they will regret.
The Congress claims its support is conditional. It will back TVK only if it keeps the BJP out of the alliance. The party insists it will maintain ties with the DMK in the India bloc.
Going to extend our support to the TVK.
What is the condition?
Condition is only that there should not be any BJP allies in the government. We want to support, have a secular, progressive government.
DMK have called you backstabbers, so what do you have to say about it?
We are already in touch with it. They are part of our Indian alliance.
The rift between DMK and the Congress was evident even before votes were cast.
My brother Stalin.
Stalin and Rahul, who once called each other brothers, did not share a stage even once during the campaign. Congress leaders openly demanded a share in power if the alliance returned to power in the state, which was rejected by the DMK. The two parties have been together in government and opposition. Now the new alliance between Congress and the TVK poses a big challenge for the India bloc. With Akshita Nandgopal, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, now while you're seeing this Congress TVK tie-up, there's always been a mutual admiration between Vijay and Rahul Gandhi. back in 2009, there was an instance where Vijay had met with Rahul Gandhi, and then it led to all kinds of rumors that he's actually joining the Congress, so much so that he had to come out and clarify that no, he wasn't joining the Congress, but he did have a lot of kind words to say about Rahul Gandhi. Let's go back in time, take a look at what happened in 2009.
ராகுல்ஜி அவர்கள் தரப்பிலிருந்து என்னுடைய வெல்விஷரும் ஒருத்தர் இருந்தார். அவர் மூலியமா என்னை மீட் பண்ணணும்ட்டு ஒரு அழைப்பு. விளையாடுறாங்களான்னு கூட எனக்கு தெரியல. ஆனால் இது ஒரு நல்ல ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி, எல்லாருக்கும் அமையாது. அடுத்து ராகுல்ஜி அவர்கள் என்னை மீட் பண்ற அளவுக்கு நான் ஒன்றும் அவ்வளோ பெரிய ஆள் இல்லை. பட் இருந்தாலும் இந்த சான்ஸை மிஸ் பண்ண வேணான்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு நாள் ஷூட்டிங்லாம் கேன்சல் பண்ணிட்டு நானும் எங்கள் அப்பாவும் டெல்லிக்கு போனோம். அவரை மீட் பண்ணோம், அவர் வீட்டில் மீட் பண்ணோம். அவர் எங்ககிட்ட பேசின விதம், எங்களை ரிசீவ் பண்ண விதம் எல்லாமே பார்த்து நான் ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியப்பட்டேன். ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சியா இருந்துச்சு. அதாவது இந்தியாவுக்கே இன்னைக்கு ஒரு பெரிய மாற்றத்தை கொண்டு வரணும்ட்டு அவங்க பாடுபட்டுக்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க. யங்ஸ்டர்ஸை டார்கெட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. குறிப்பா இப்போ வந்த பார்லிமெண்ட் எலெக்ஷன்ஸ், அவங்க எடுத்த ஸ்டெப்ஸ், அதனால வந்த ரிசல்ட்ஸ் நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும். ஸோ அப்பேற்பட்டவர் என்னை மீட் பண்ணது எனக்கும் சரி, என் ரசிகர்களுக்கும் சரி, தமிழ் மக்களுக்கும் சரி ஒரு பெருமையான விஷயமா தான் நான் நினைக்கிறேன். கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 1 hour நாங்கள் பேசணும். நிறைய விஷயங்கள் பேசணும், ஜென்ரலா பேசணும், சினிமாவை பத்தி பேசணும், மக்கள் இயக்கத்தை பத்தி கேட்டாங்க, அதை பத்தி பேசணும். டைம்ல வந்த பத்திரிகையில வந்த நியூஸ் மாதிரி யாரோடையும் சேரல.
So while Vijay is very closely tracking what's taking place and whether he'll be given the nod by the governor or not, we can tell you that right now Vijay has left from his residence. He's headed back to his home in East Coast Road, which is quite a distance away from the city, which seems to suggest that Vijay doesn't have any hope of anything moving forward in the next few hours. There is a sense that clarity will emerge in the next 45 minutes or so on exactly what the governor plans to do. But with the governor suddenly suggesting that you need to hit the majority mark, when usually the norm is that the single largest party is invited to form the government and then they have to prove their numbers on the floor of the house. Here you've got the governor saying, no, you need to show me exactly how you're getting 118 and then I'll take a decision. The governor has also sought a legal opinion to figure out how really this works. So we'll have to see if in the next 45 minutes there's any sort of decision that comes in from the governor, who's also, mind you, dissolved the DMK government. So there's a state of limbo, a state of essentially the pause button having been hit across Tamil Nadu. And everyone's watching with bated breath, wondering when that historic moment will actually play out here at the Nehru Indoor Stadium of the TVK chief, of Vijay scripting history and finally taking oath. We don't have clarity on that just yet, but let me open this up. Joining us on this broadcast, we've got Salem Dharnidharan, DMK spokesperson, Nandkumar, a political analyst, and Mr. Anand Srinivasan, spokesperson of the Congress. Mr. Nandkumar, I'd like your view first on what we're seeing with regards to the governor and the fact that no nod has been given for Vijay to go ahead and take oath as the chief minister. You know, there have been some murmurs within the TVK that this is a conspiracy. What do you think, sir?
So actually, the Indian Constitution doesn't mandate a governor to assure the halfway mark so that only after that he can call a candidate. Suppose, say, for example, in 2018, in Karnataka, the halfway mark was 112 and BJP was having 104 only. So they were short by 8 seats, but still governor has called the Yediyurappa to form the government. And in the same way, in 2019, Maharashtra government was called by the governor, even though they didn't have the majority to form. And Supreme Court has ordered the floor test, and then Fadnavis had to resign before the floor test. So Constitution has clearly mentioned that there is no mandate a governor should seek for the halfway mark before calling a thing. So most of the governments are often formed based on the likelihood of the majority, while legitimacy is proved on the during the floor test. So, and Vijay, right from the beginning, he has been facing a lot of hurdles, but each and every hurdle he has been successfully overcoming. Yes, Akshita.
You're right, sir. You're right in highlighting that something about this doesn't add up. something about this doesn't make sense. When as you've listed, Mr. Nandakumar, so many instances of minority governments taking oath, the norm is usually that the single largest party, and here it's undoubtedly the TVK at 107, when the single largest party is usually given the mandate by the people, the governor invites the single largest party to go ahead and form the government. What does the leader of the party do? Hand over a list of signatures to show that they are the single largest party. So in this case, all Vijay needed was 107. He went ahead and gave the Congress signatures to, made it 112. So there is no question of any other party being close to that. The DMK, AIA, DMK were far, far behind. And yet you've got the governor saying, I don't know, maybe the majority mark should be considered, which is 118. Yes, sir. 117 then is the halfway mark, yeah.
Yeah, it is already they are having 108 and now Congress 5, it is 113 rather, not even 112.
No,
So,
the reason I'm saying, sir, is 107 is considering Trichy East and the fact that Vijay will have to resign from there. But you're right in highlighting some of the concerns here, which I think everyone's asking right now about what has led. Yeah.
It is not mandatory for Vijay to resign his second seat now, and based on the constitutional now, even though he has won the 2 seats, it is considered as the valid MLA. So that is why always whenever the leaders won the 2 seats, always they time their resignation. So till now it is considered as 108, not 107. And already in Tamil Nadu, there is a saying that the disturbance between the governor and the elected government. So in the beginning of the Vijay is forming the government itself, if the governor is behaving like this, then definitely this will not be taken lightly by the public, and it's not good for the new governor also. And understanding the mandate of the public, and they have to respect the emotion and the public mandate.
No, so as of now, I think, Mr. Nandakumar, we have to wait and see. In another 45 minutes, it's expected that there will be some clarity of which way the governor will go or what he'll decide. But I must say this, that looking at past precedent, there's never been an issue. There's never been a hassle. There's never been a challenge in the governor going ahead and okaying a minority government, which suddenly now it's become a hurdle and a problem for Vijay. So we'll have to see what really happens. I'd like to bring in the Congress and DMK also on this, and particularly the fact that Mr. Anand Srinivasan, I'd like your reaction too. The DMK is referred to what you've done of leaving them for the TVK as a betrayal, saying they're not really surprised this is opportunism.
Yeah, first let me thank you for inviting me here today. First, I wanted to exactly this is the reason why the Congress was quick to offer support. The BJP and the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh uses the governor's office to murder democracy across the country. There have been instances where, without proper support, Fadnavis was sworn in and immediately the same day he had to resign. The governor's office is not functioning as per the Constitution of India. So we do not want the BJP and the RSS to enter Tamil Nadu. The people of Tamil Nadu have decisively rejected the BSP and RSS. Last time they had seats. This time they have one seat.
Are you suggesting that this is the BJP is doing, Mr. Srinivasan? Are you suggesting that the BJP is trying to stop Vijay from taking oath?
The governor is, yes, there is no doubt. It is the RSS and the BJP. You have had a Brahmin MLA of the BJP, ex-MLA, calling Joseph Vijay. When he talked about GST in a movie, he was referred to as Joseph Vijay. Then he always calls himself Vijay. But one MLA who is now has several defamation cases against him, referred to him as Joseph Vijay. It is demeaning for the RSS that a man who will not believe in Hindu faith, who may be of a Christian faith, has been elected by a largely Hindu state to be their leader. The RSS is using the governor's office to stop.
No, so Mr. Dharmidharan, you know, you keep saying opportunism, betrayal, but the Congress is saying this is exactly why we've done what we've done, to keep out, as they call it, communal forces, to ensure that the BJP doesn't control the narrative in Tamil Nadu.
Excuse me. Yes, the governor is right now playing the role of a BJP's agent. The right to, as we talk, there are enough Supreme Court judgments to show that there is no role for the governor in this. The Supreme Court judgment is very clear. The test for the majority is the House, not the governor's office. DMK has protested
No,
against
so
this
let Mr.
several times
Dharnidharan
in
come
their
in, sir.
past.
Okay, let Mr. Dharnidharan come in. Okay, let Mr. Dharnidharan come in. Go ahead.
Yes, tell me what is it you want me to speak about?
No, so
Akshita,
this
can
is
you
what
hear
the
me?
Congress is saying. Dharnidharan, the Congress is saying that, it is because of this. I can hear you. I'm saying that the Congress is alleging that this is exactly why they joined hands with the TVK to keep the BJP out, that the governor is already being used by the BJP to stop Vijay.
See, now that they have decided to leave, I think it is their problem. Let's say DMK and Congress were nearly married, where it was like a marriage for 20 years. They decided to break up with us. Let's say if your wife wants to leave you after 20 years of marriage to a very young guy, I think because of a very new relationship, then I think both are adult individuals. I think I think it's their responsibility. So maybe after 1 year they regret it, is their problem. That's how I look at it. So, but because we had a relationship, I do not want to go and badmouth them.
No, but
Right? I don't want to go back.
your own leaders, Mr. Dharnidharan, your own leaders have called it betrayal, backstabbers, opportunism. Your own leaders are calling them out publicly.
No, I will wait for my chief minister to respond on it, and based on that, I will give a comment on this matter. But as far as I know, it was like a marriage for 20 years. The divorces happened.
Your leader,
The
not Chief
Congress wants
Minister
to leave.
Dharnidharan.
Congress wants to flirt with a very young party because maybe they found it more interesting than the old DMK. But after 6 months, what they feel about it, after 1 year, what they feel about it, most young relationships, they break up because they go for something else. So this is a long relation based on strong foundation. So let's get into this topic after a year and see if the Congress regrets it or does not regret it. Why is that I want to
Mr.
come and badmouth
Srinivasan, do
about
you
them
think
right
you'll
now?
regret it as the DMK suggests you will? Mr.
I
Srinivasan?
very much. Can you repeat the question again? Akshita, can you repeat the
Mr.
question again?
Srinivasan, the DMK is suggesting that you'll regret it in a year. That you'll regret joining TVK in a year,
That
sir.
is only because that is their hope, and we will see that after 1 year. Right now, the people of Tamil Nadu have decisively spoken. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh and the Bharatiya Janata Party are trying to steal the mandate of the people of Tamil Nadu. It is the responsibility of Congress to save the Tamil language and to save the mandate of the people of Tamil Nadu. We always knew that the governor's office will be used to do midnight dramas, to break parties, to threaten regional parties. This have done across India. They
Okay,
have
then
done.
Mr.
The
Srinivasan.
Congress will
No, one
stand.
second. No, one second. Mr. Srinivasan, okay, you're saying you're safeguarding Tamil Nadu from the BJP. Now, you've given conditional support, where you said if quote-unquote communal forces enter, that's when you will exit this alliance. Are you okay with an AIA-DMK alliance to ensure that the governor gives the nod for TVK to form the government then? Will you agree to that? Because that will then make the governor agree.
Let me agree. First of all, the governor has no business. The Supreme Court is the law of the land. The governor has no business in this. He has to call the largest party. And once it is there, we have to prove a majority of people in voting and present and voting. We don't need 118. If there are only 200 people in the assembly, we need only 101. The governor cannot decide what is a majority. The Lok Bhavan is not a place where where there can be a floor test. There are several Supreme Court judgments. The Supreme Court is supreme. The governor is not supreme. The governor is acting beyond his means. R.N. Ravi did it. He supported it. The Supreme Court stuck it down. In the floor of the House, we are very certain we have the numbers.
No, sir.
Now, as your question on ADMK, let me answer that.
Mr. Dharnidharan, what's your view of what's happening with the governor? Will you concede that the governor right now and what has happened, the fact that TVK is not being allowed to form the government, is something that we've never seen before, is unprecedented? Do you back the TVK when they say that there's some conspiracy here?
See, these are decisions my leader would take. I do not want to comment on these matters. But it is all known that even when Vijay's movie Janagan was released, it was my chief minister who raised voice for him. And we also told it is a strong DMK that can fight against the union BJP government. Time and again, that's what we did. When we were in power, not once, on 100 occasions, the governor did not follow the constitutional norm and thwarted the growth of Tamil Nadu, and policies that were implemented or were being or rather passed in the assembly. This is not today, it was been happening for the last 5 years for us. And that is why I continuously raised voice against it. But for this specific matter, my chief minister will decide whatever is appropriate.
Okay. Dharanidharan, you need to get out of the habit of referring to Stalin as chief minister. He's no longer the chief minister. Fortunately for the DMK, we're going to see a new chief minister taking oath. Dharanidharan, you need to get out of that habit, but I understand. I understand.
Until Vijay becomes
No, but the government has been dissolved. The government has been dissolved. No, I knew that was coming. The government has been dissolved just now by the governor. Dharanidharan, I knew that was coming. But Mr. Nandakumar, just bringing it back to what's been happening with the governor right now. The other question that constantly comes up, Mr. Nandakumar, is whether you have the requisite support. Sure, you can say that there's a conspiracy that the governor should be allowing you to form a minority government, but the numbers simply don't add up right now. The VCK left are still skeptical. Only the Congress has come on board, sir.
No, there are various ways for proving the majority. Now with Congress, if they are having 113, even if 10 MLAs abstain on the date of voting, they are winning the majority. And that is why Supreme Court also said that proving the majority, the floor test is in the assembly, not in the governor's house. So it is up to the parties how they are proving the majority. And what I am saying is that it is not the, even Dharanidhar was talking about relationship. Now here I am talking about the relationship of public elected government and the governor. So this relationship should start very smoothly, because both of the relationship of these two institutions is very, very important for the goodness of the state, and also the relationship between the state and the center. And we don't want to have tussle between the state and the center. We wanted to have a very smooth sailing so that the state can prosper in a right way. So the governor to start this relationship, and knowing that TVK is the single largest party, and having said this, no other parties in Tamil Nadu have claimed any stake now to form the government. There is no second or third party now. The one and only party who is claiming the stake is TVK. Then what is the problem for governor to give a chance? What is the basic question arises
no,
here?
I agree that the DMK, are nowhere close to the numbers that the TVK has. It's 640 right now, and we'll have to see. Mr. Nandakumar, in another 20-30 minutes, we should get clarity if there's any communication from the governor and which way this will go. But thank you all for joining me on this broadcast. Selam Dharanidharan, Mr. Srinivasan of the Congress, and Mr. Nandakumar for joining us on this broadcast. You know, even as there are questions right now about whether the swearing in tomorrow will happen or not, I just want to give you a sense of what this location looks like. It's right here that the swearing in ceremony will take place. They were hoping that it would happen tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the morning. They were hoping that's when history would be scripted. But no, not happening as of now, at least. The governor is still waiting at this point, figuring out legal opinion, trying to understand whether they'll be able to actually go ahead with the swearing in ceremony or not. But right now, even as there are questions about whether it will happen, whether the swearing in ceremony can take place, you're seeing that the entire setup is ready. Overnight, there will be work that continues along this entire stretch, and thousands of people will be coming here. I mean, look at where I am. I'm in the heart of the stadium right now. This entire area will be completely booked out. There will be people, TVK supporters, TVK cadre, who will also be allowed to come here. Cleaning is underway on all of these benches to ensure that it's spick and span, ready for that historic oath-taking ceremony that not just Tamil Nadu, the entire country will be watching, simply because of the history that Vijay scripted. But hurdles galore, including now the governor saying you need more numbers, that a minority government for some reason suddenly can't be sworn in. We'll see what the governor decides. Right now, reportedly, he's seeking legal opinion. We're going to track this. Our special 2-hour broadcast from inside the Nehru Indoor Stadium continues on the other side of a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the latest updates and the latest news breaks on whether Vijay's historic swearing-in ceremony will happen in the next 24 hours or not.